This is Debbie. So the way I got involved with the Federation was I had gotten a master's degree in social work, and this was back in the early 70s, very early 70s. And I was looking for a job and running into an enormous amount of job discrimination, walking into interviews and being told, well, we're not going to hire you because you're blind, so you might as well go home, that kind of stuff. And at one point, I figured out that this was what they call discrimination, and I called the ACLU and I said, "Can you help me?" And they said, "No, sorry, we don't handle discrimination on the basis of blindness and disability. We only do gender, race, religion, ethnic origin, but no, disability is not covered. If you want to do anything, if you want help from us, you're going to have to change the law." Which was pretty daunting for a kid just out of school trying to find a job. But I did find a job eventually. I was working in New York for a couple of years, and I ran into a woman named Adrienne Ash, who was actually an old classmate of mine from when we had been in a Braille class together. And I always say Adrienne was the smartest kid in our class and the bossiest. And she was still being bossy. She said, "You're going to get involved with this project we've got going through the National Federation of the Blind New York City chapter." Or no, it was called the Metropolitan chapter. There were two chapters at that time in New York City. And at any rate, we have drafted a piece of legislation. We're trying to get it through the New York legislature to add disability to the New York State Human Rights Act. And it was the first time I had ever gone public as a blind person, a person with a disability. We organized a march on the State House in Albany, because the governor wouldn't sign the bill. The governor was Nelson Rockefeller. And the bill was sitting on his desk, passed except for needing his signature, and it was just sitting there. And so we marched. There were blind people and deaf. It was a cross disability bill, and it was a cross disability march. And it got a lot of press because the press was totally not used to anything of that kind. And the governor signed the bill. And I thought, I changed the law. This organization, the National Federation of the Blind, helped me do something that needed to be done, and I couldn't possibly do it on my own. But through the collective action of the National Federation of the Blind, we were able to get this to happen. And that was very empowering. So that was how I first got involved with the Federation.